Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. We are live for the first time streaming on Twitch. We'll be streaming on YouTube next week, but welcome to Keep Your Head Up Hockey. I'm your host, Jamie, with good old Bedard Bandwagon, Brennan Finch. We've got J-Dog, Jay Gordon, and Dylan Ose, the Mr. Leaf Blower. We're going to jump right into it. We're going to get this going here. Just a quick shout out to one of our viewers here. A big happy birthday, and I'll have Jay give the shout out. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, it's my brother's son's birthday, my nephew, Logan Bruce. A little happy birthday to him. He's already driving, in Saskatchewan. I guess they got their driver's license at like 15, so he's been driving for a year now, and that scares me. Anyway, but big happy birthday to him, and hello to his
happy birthday.
Happy birthday. All the roads are straight and flat. There's no hills. That's why they can do their
See your dog running for 4 days.
All right. Well, let's jump into the topics. And if you are watching on Twitch, you can actually comment, and I can actually click on your comment and put it on the screen. So if you've got a great comment, then I'll throw it on the screen. So we'll move on. It was epic hockey this weekend and last week. It was great. We had the Sweden Global Series, and I got to say, I love this. I love this about the NHL. They're trying to, spread their wings and see how far the NHL can go and see what countries we're going to make an impact in. And I thought it was awesome. So we're going to talk about the hockey games real quick here. The first one up was Red Wings and the Senators. And boy, I watched it, and Senators dominating early 4-0, and Red Wings come flying back and tie it up. And well, we all know what happened, but I'll throw it over to Brennan to talk about his team and the big win to start off the Sweden series.
Let me just start by saying, pow! Yeah, baby, Stützle, right out of the friggin' air, man. What a friggin' hand! That was Barry Bonds-esque right there. You know what I mean? Yeah, we shit the bed for the last little bit, allowed 4 goals, come back, whatever. I'm not going to dwell in the past. You know what? Overtime was close. And then it came right down to it. Was there like 34 seconds or something crazy like that? Yeah, I couldn't believe it, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I was ready to break shit. I was. As you can imagine, you blow a 4-goal lead, I'm going to break shit. But nope, they pulled it off. So I held my calm. But what a beauty game! What a beauty game!
There was some debate online as to what Reimer was doing there.
Well, what would you do if a guy was swinging his friggin' stick 60 miles an hour towards your beak from 2 feet away? I don't know.
Got a helmet on.
I said
he's got a helmet on. Well, yeah, okay. You put a helmet on. I'll swing a hockey stick at your face, and you see if you flinch.
How many beers deep am I at this point?
Fair enough.
But anyway, we'll move on to the next game. That was really exciting. A great way to start the Sweden Global Series. And those guys came out. The fans in Sweden were there. They showed up for every game. We'll throw it over to Dylan first to talk about the Wings and the Leafs. And Dylan and Jay are going to kind of talk about this one. So go ahead, guys.
Yeah, it was a great game. This was 2 in the afternoon, so I planned my day accordingly and got home to watch the game. And I was overall pretty impressed by the Leafs' performance. You got again the top lines doing what they're doing, and Nylander 2 assists, Bertuzzi chipping in with a goal and an assist, a nice feed to Tavares. I thought Sammy played a pretty good game. I felt like he should have stopped that penalty shot though, which also I didn't think was a legit penalty shot. Like, did he? Because his stick was over the puck and then his hand was over the puck, so technically his hand was just on his stick there. I don't know, kind of a cheap call. I think it was one of those calls where everybody on the ice yelled and the ref just felt pressure to make the call. Nice move by Sprong. It's hard to stop a triple deke like that, a la Mighty Ducks. So, but good for the Leafs to bang one out and play a solid 3 periods. I think they got like 15. They were like 15-0 in shots in that third period. So they were lights out, considering the jet lag and whatever other hoopla they got into on the trip. I'm sure it was a fun trip for the boys, one to remember, and I hope they carry forward and bring that momentum back to North
Hey,
America.
what do you think, Jay?
Well, I have to say a couple of the guys that haven't been playing very well. Bertuzzi chipped in. Bertuzzi hasn't been playing, to be expected or as expected. I have to say Samsonov played a pretty good game. Brain fart for the Detroit goalie. He actually played a pretty good game as well, I have to say.
Husso.
I think he was their best player by far.
Gusso.
Yeah, and
Husso or Husso?
Yeah, I can't. I don't know how to say it either. But as far as the players are concerned, I'd say that the guys that haven't been chipping in seem to play better in their own zone. They were getting the puck out pretty quick most of the game. It was the only real game that I watched the full game all weekend, so it was good. And of course, the Nylander show. I mean, let's face it, he was the star of the show. And buying 100 tickets or 90 tickets or something like that for his grandmother to show up and a couple other people, I guess. Obviously, you see if you watch the game, there's lots of his dad with the camera in front of his face.
Yeah.
You want to tell him, like, watch it yourself. Like, I hate that when people are like that. But anyway, like, you're there for he's an ex-NHLer. He can get that off the friggin' every angle from whenever he wants, wherever he wants, and he's doing that on his own phone. Like, I mean, just have them send it to your house, dude.
I gotta say, Jay, I was hoping to see a few more Swedish babes in the crowd, but didn't really happen.
Yeah,
They were there.
Nylander bought
They were there.
100
You just gotta
tickets.
Watch out for them.
Yeah.
And the panel playboy.
His sisters aren't so bad looking, so
But a big win, and I thought that the Leafs really played really well the full game and played a full 60 minutes. They normally haven't been doing that this year, and getting it done in one and a half period. So really great to see. We'll move on. The second, I guess the third game, the second game for the Sens was the Wild. And I thought it was a complete game. I was entertained the whole way through. It was a really great game to watch. It was a goalie tandem duo. Forsberg, I've got to say, wow, did he ever play fantastic that game? And I was messaging Brennan when I was watching it, and I said, man, when I went into the shootout, I was just like, buddy, the Sens have got this because Forsberg's playing so well. And what happened? They won in the shootout. But Brendan, what did you think about your team again? You guys played really well.
It was kind of a weird game in a sense that it was the opposite of what Ottawa does, night in and night out. It seems like they can't stop a beach ball, but all of a sudden you get Forsberg over there and he stands on his head. And it was kind of weird. And we're not a good comeback team by any means, right? We'll blow leads because of the goaltending, but because he played so solid, it gave me some hope for the Senators really this year. Sitting still with over 500 record +8. They're not in a bad position, second to last to Montreal, but who cares? We've got more than 2 games in hand on most teams in the division. You know what I mean? So it gave me a lot of hope in that sense. But then the game itself, man, I'll tell you what. It was a really good goaltending battle, and you don't see that a lot with Ottawa. It was nice to see, and then to top it off, you got the, to finish it off in the shootout was pretty awesome. And even in the shootout, that was the only goal in the shootout, keep in mind too, right? It was only one goal in the shootout. So it was a goaltending battle through and through, even to the end. Quite frankly, after the series, I'm all for moving the Sens from Ottawa. Stockholm Senators, baby.
I love it. I love the thought. And we'll talk about that a little bit further after we go through all the games here, because we've only got one more left to run through here. So we'll have Jay and Dylan take on the Leafs and the Wild, and I'll have kind of Dylan pitch it and then have Jay comment. But Dylan, go ahead.
Yeah, what can I say, man? Just another solid 3 periods by the boys and the buds. And by the way, love the blue buckets out there. The blue buckets and the white jerseys was looking fresh. I think they should. I'm glad the league approved that look. So I'm was happy.
I can't believe they did
out there and getting 2 wins with the blue buckets and the white jerseys. So I really enjoyed this game. Obviously, they were up 3-1, huge lead to start. And Minnesota battled back, a couple lucky goals. I thought Wall played lights out. I thought he deserved the most credit on the team, but obviously it was Nylander and Sweden, so it was the Nylander show. And of course, he gets the OT winner just to put the fairy tale ending on that story in Sweden. And I was super happy to see the boys pull out the win. And I got to say, like, there's a lot of talk about Nylander. I know we want to talk about him briefly here because we got a lot to touch on the show, but everyone's saying pay the guy. There's memes everywhere. It's just a lot of Nylander hype right now. He's getting we're getting his money, our money's worth on him. But I do have to say, like, he's allowed to do what he's doing because he's the top scorer on the team, and he's fifth, tied for fifth or in the league. And he's on the second line. He's on the second line on a team. So that, I think, plays a huge role because you've got the top defensive pairing on every team having to shut down Matthews and Marner, and Nylander is finally, this is what he should have been doing, and he's finally doing it. He's stepping into a place where he's not getting defended as much, and when he has the puck, he's virtually untouchable out there. He's got the hands of Marner and the shot of Matthews, in my opinion. I know I'll get some grief about that, but I think he's coming into his own and he's learning. He's probably learned from those two a lot. So
when I watch that kid, I really think now of a Mario Lemieux or even, a Yager type of talent. He really is stepping it up. He's having that type of year, Brennan. He really is.
Dude,
you can't deny it.
We're so early in. Like, you guys, everybody was shitting on him, keep in mind, before the season even started. And then all of a sudden, like, pay the man. We're 15 games into the damn season. Pay that motherfucker all this money because he's leading the team. And Dylan, second line on the Leafs is all-stars, dude.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I know. Look at our third line. Our third line is Domi, Robertson, and Yarncroc. That could easily be a second line on any other team.
But you were saying Seattle. Like, he's putting up these numbers, like, he's doing it despite being on the second line.
Well, and that's Brendan, and I have to agree with you there. Absolutely, I think the hype, we're overhyped. I just love it.
Yeah,
and
it's
I
too
love
soon.
that he's doing well.
He's doing awesome.
It's 100% way too soon. Like,
Too
don't
soon.
get too horny about this guy. Let's see what he can do in the playoffs. Although last year in the playoffs he did well. And but there was some chatter online, Jamie, earlier today where they were talking about how what are we gonna do about Nylander next year? It's like, who gives a fuck about next year? Like, let's win the cup this year, boys. Let's focus on that this year. Who cares, man? We win the cup, it doesn't matter. The team could shit the bed and get the first overall pick and whoever.
The thing is that it is in his contract year, right? His last year. So if we don't go all the way, let's say that, right? And if we don't trade him at his max value, he is going to walk, because I don't think that the Leafs are going to be able to pay him what his value will be if he has a 100-point plus season this year, right? I don't think that we'll be able to afford him with who we've got. We've got to move some people to keep Nylander, that's for sure. If we want to keep everybody, we can't have Nylander as well. So the Leafs have, almost have a gamble where, let's push for the playoffs. Let's go for the Stanley Cup this year. But if we don't get it done, which more than likely, as our history would say, we're not going to get it done. But if we don't get it done, then he walks with a ton of cash and goes to somebody else's team, and we get nothing for him. So that's the huge gamble that we've got going on.
So he's a free agent July 1st of next year.
Yeah, he is.
This is it.
But guys, does that not worry you? Does that not worry you as a guy who's been there with the Leafs and he's in his contract year? Do you think that's a fucking coincidence?
No,
I don't. That would worry the shit out of me. His heart's not into winning. I don't feel like it's flashy at the beginning of the year, but what's going to happen come playoff time? I mean, not knocking anything that he's done in the past, but it is worries. Like, I would worry the shit out of that, man. If a guy comes in his contract here and all of a sudden he's actually playing to his potential, and lo and behold, now he's looking to get paid, what's going to happen next year, man?
Okay, so here's the thing, though, okay? I feel like when I watch his game, and I've watched Nylander, Jamie, you've watched Nylander over the years, like, he's still the same skilled player. He's still not really getting in the dirty areas. He's still not doing a lot of things that he was criticized about for years. but he's getting the points. The puck is going in, and he's finding a way to get points on the board. And that's exactly what he was missing in his, in his criticism, was the consistency. He's still not banging in the corners. He's still, he's not back checking. He's not killing penalties. He's not doing
He's
anything
not expected to.
extraordinarily different from years past, except that he's getting the points this year. So this is what he's supposed to do. This is what he's paid to do, and he will get paid more money next year when he does it.
And it's
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
We're talking
There
about
we go.
Nylander.
He's back. So what do you think about Nylander, Jay?
I just got into I was on that Leafs, one of the Leafs pages today. I got in a big argument with a couple of guys. He's their best player right now. He has been their best player since the playoffs last year. He deserves every penny, whatever he's going to get. I think he deserves every penny. He's playing better defensively than he was before. He's not a gritty player, but like you can name 100 players that have been some of the best players in the league for years and not been gritty. So everybody's expecting to be tougher. Well, that's not his style of play. He's not a big guy. You don't want him getting hurt. Now, I'm not saying don't play physical, but I'm saying he's not going to play super physical. That's not his style. And he doesn't need to. Why does he need to have that aspect of his game? As long as he back checks, as far as I'm concerned, that's all he needs to do. As long as he comes in his own zone and does what he's supposed to do in his own zone, what do you care? As long as he's out there scoring, like he's going to get 100 points this year, no problem. I think he's getting 100 points. And I think he's going to be their best player next year as well. And he just keeps improving. His confidence level has improved a ton. I think because of all the crap that went down because of his contract, which I hated when all that happened. I thought it was crap. I didn't like the way he pulled off that bullshit. But in stating that, everybody thought he was going for $10 million right away, and then you found out afterwards the contract was actually for 6.5, I think it is. So it wasn't as bad as everybody thought at first. He wasn't proven. But what the fuck did Matthews and Marner do? Nothing. They got these over $10 million contracts and they hadn't proven themselves yet. This guy's been proving himself and improving every year, and he just keeps getting better. I think he deserves whatever he gets. And if they're smart, I think they get rid of a couple other guys that don't show up in the playoffs. He showed up in the playoffs last year, and he was their best player, like I said. So I think he deserves. I think
hard work pays off.
Better.
Hard work pays off because he's the guy that honestly, and I've known this for a long time about Nylander. He's the first guy on the ice. He's the last guy off the ice for practice. He's the first guy in the gym. He's the last guy that leaves the gym during the workout days. Seriously, he's known for that since he's joined the Leafs years ago. So, yeah, kids, if you're watching, which you shouldn't be because it's an X-rated show, but no, the kids, you really got to put the time in and put the work in, even after you make the NHL. You got to work hard at it and you got to keep grinding, and it paid off. He's done well this year, so got to give him kudos from Keep Your Head Up.
I have to say one more thing. I don't know if you guys saw the interview you had on the Swedish show after the game the other day. Anybody that walks onto a show after a hockey game wearing a wife beater with that much confidence deserves a good contract. That's what I say.
We're going to go back
call
to
it wife
the
beater
Sweden
anymore.
series. We're going to go back to the Sweden series just for a moment because really nothing's been decided as of yet. Where should they go next? Now, we're not going to keep a lot of time on this, but if they're going to go somewhere and do this, NHL session, 4 or 5 games again during the regular season, what country really would be a great fit? I say, and this is going to probably be, not the favorite comments in Canada, but I say Russia. Russia's, a diehard hockey country. They love the sport. They've always produced great talent. They've got kids that are coming up that are still playing, making the NHL. They're a fabulous hockey place. They've got great arenas. They've got big cities. They're a massive country. So if they're looking actually to expand into different countries, Russia would be an amazing fit. We'll move on to Brennan, and we'll see what he has to say. Brennan, who do you think they should try out for one of those sessions of the 4 or 5 team sessions?
So I really just don't think that Russia is not feasible. I mean, let's face it, with all the turmoil and everything, you'd like to think that hockey's Canadian game, and I believe it is to a certain extent, but the market is majority in the U.S., and that's unfortunate. But that doesn't translate to any NHL going to Russia anytime soon. Let's face it, it just doesn't, right? For me personally, I don't know, man. I feel like there's some places like SC Burn, man. that's what I'm thinking, dude. And so I'm just gonna look up attendance records here. Hold on. So SC Burn, they've got hold on. So they're in Bern, Switzerland, and it's a Swiss Elite League team, of course, SC Bern, and their attendance record has led Europe in. Hold on a sec here. I think it's 10 consecutive years at over 17,000.
So Switzerland would be a good fit then.
I think so, man. Why not? They've already got the market for hockey. Most of their top talent, as with most European countries, right? Their top talent goes to North America for at least a period of time before coming back. You got the guys who retire heroes back home, your Jagers and shit like that. But there's already a market there. They got great fucking hockey. Why not?
Truthfully do.
Why not give it a go? You know how much attention that would draw? Think of the Olympics, man.
Well, watch what they draw for the Spangler Cup.
Spangler Cup. Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah,
They really do. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a party and a half. That's on my bucket list.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun. Maybe a lot of fun.
Spangler.
Dylan, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm of the opinion of definitely. I don't think I would love to see it in Russia. I think that listen, I don't want to get political too much here on this show, which is not something we're prepared to do yet. But I would love to see the game in Russia. I would love to see a better relationship overall with Russia. Listen, I'm a people loving human being. I just want people of the earth to get along, and hockey's one of the greatest sports ever, and everybody in Russia loves it. Everybody in North America loves it. So what's the deal here? It's obviously some other bullshit going on. But I'm with you, Jamie. I'd love to see it in Russia. However, because I do believe that's just a bullshit thing that's not going to happen because of stupidity and egos.
I brought it up because my heart's there. My heart's there.
Well, so is Dylan's.
Anyway,
we'll
soon,
keep it going. No, I do have one quick. I would like to say real quick that I would love to see it. I would love to see it, the game expanding in Great Britain and England. I would too. I think that is the next. There's so many expats there. So many buddies I've known that played hockey over there. It should be a budding hockey market. And if not, then why not something crazy like Japan or China? Why not? Maybe not China. Japan would be awesome.
Yeah, look at what golf did in Japan.
What did I don't even know.
Yeah,
look at what happened with golf in Japan.
Gosh.
You have to book a time on a 3-tiered driving range, like triple deck driving range. You have to book a tee time just for a half an hour spot to hit driving range balls, man, like 2 or 3 months in advance.
No
at
shit.
Some place.
Yeah, it's go over there, make a difference. Like China, Japan, somewhere where they haven't really watched the sport before, right? I think that'd be fantastic for them to kind of have a little bit of this session like they did in Sweden, which was amazing. So we'll end the comment there.
Italy, I know. Sorry, but Italy would be a good one too because they're a budding hockey country as well. That's always on the cusp. It's just not quite making it, but they are involved in a lot of they qualified for some of the Olympics one year, I think, and a couple other places. But anyways, sorry, Jamie, go ahead.
Italy be good too. But yeah, no, we wanted to talk and just see what cities are. Well, Jay, go ahead. If you got another, okay, we'll keep it going. Where do next? Keep it going.
Well, I'll even go back to Russia. Would love to see it there. The only thing that you're going to have a problem with there is the Russian mafia. They run the KHL, so they just wouldn't let it happen. However, I love Russia. I got friends from Russia. I was actually just golfing with Vitaly Yashmanev when I was back home. I talked to him a little bit about the hockey and how things were there. He loved it there. I mean, he's from there, but I married a girl from my hometown, and they love the hockey there. The fans are fantastic, and they get right into it. But again, the KHL wouldn't allow it. The owners of the KHL wouldn't allow it. As far as England is concerned, it wouldn't fly. It's not that the soccer fan base, football, whatever you want to call it. I played over there, and there's like 2 teams over there. Sheffield, they're always strong. They can get 10,000 people at games and maybe a bit more, I think it is, but around there. But they're probably the only team that really stacks them high on a regular basis. London can, but yeah, there's tons of expats there. But I'll be honest with you, the Devil's Playground is what I call it. I think Dubai would be the best place to start a league. It'd be just like Live, basically same idea as far as the golf's concerned. You got millions and millions of dollars to be thrown around, billions of dollars to be thrown around. All the Emirates have hockey rinks. I played over there when we went over with the military. I played in Abu Dhabi. I played in Dubai, and both rinks at the Dubai rink that's in the mall. It actually holds, I think, a couple thousand. I mean, you'd have to put something else in. The leisure center is getting really old now, and it doesn't hold a lot of fans. Plus, you change in the same room as the other team. It's like a great big change room. I actually played against six guys from the 72 Russia series in a tournament over there. Bidoff was on there. That guy's like 7 feet tall. Anyway, it would fly in Dubai. No pun intended. I'm a poet and didn't know it. But the money that they have there, they've got kart racing. If you want to go out and kart race like yourself, you just pay $800 for the weekend, and you do theory for the day, and then the next day you drive. Awesome. They'll do anything over there. You can go jump off of buildings and do base jumping, whatever. You can do whatever the hell you want over there. So the amount of money that's just flowing there, and Dubai isn't even the richest emirate. It just seems like it is. They borrow money from Abu Dhabi all the time. That's why they called the Burj Khalifa the Burj Khalifa, because they borrowed the money off the ruler of Abu Dhabi. So Dubai doesn't have any oil. They used to just trade pearls and stuff, but and that's how it started there. It was a trade center. But anyway, point being, the amount of money, it would fly there, and the fan base. Go watch any videos of any comedians and shit like that go over there. That they put up these big tents, and there's like 10, 12,000 people that show up in a tent at 100 degrees, and they're laughing their ass off and having a great time. Yeah, you're not allowed to be drinking in public. You are allowed to drink within facilities. So even if you went there, you'd be allowed to drink in the facility, but you just can't be drunk in public outside the facilities.
Gotta love Dubai. They're a great place to get a pearl necklace.
well, with that comment, we'll keep it going. So the NHL keeps expanding. And the last team was Seattle. Team before that was Vegas. And there's been tons of talk about, what the right city is for the next expansion. Of course, it's going to be in North America. I think the vision in the long run is going to be worldwide, but not anytime soon. So my thought, and I think a great city would be, and I'd love to have it in Canada, of course, but I just don't think we can fill the seats. So I'm going to go with Houston, Texas. I think that it's a massive city. It's got enough venues to, host another team. There's tons of money in that city. Just tons and tons and tons of people. And that's what you need to fill the rink on a regular basis. Look at Winnipeg. They bring Winnipeg back, and they're having trouble selling tickets. They got to find a market where there's tons of people that actually want to watch the sport, that want to get behind a team, a new team, and support them. And I think that Houston, Texas would be a great spot. So that's my opinion on that one. Let's go right over to Brendan. Let's hear from Brendan. Who's your opinion of a great city that may be able to host an NHL team?
I mean, call me old-fashioned, but my gut instinct goes right back to Quebec. Quebec City. And, talk all you want about province and the haves and shit like that. I don't give a fuck about any of that. I'll tell you what. Quebec City, those people got robbed of a cup, in my opinion. Robbed.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely robbed. And you know what? They deserve better. It's not like they didn't have people sitting in the fucking seats or anything like that. It wasn't even, I don't even think it was really attendance based. They had a lot of talent. leaving there, and it's just sad what happened there. And I would personally love to see it obviously go to any North American city. Jamie, Houston is a freaking great city. Having lived in Texas myself for 5 years, I've been there several times. I think it would take a little bit for a hockey market to catch on because most of the folks in Texas don't really know what the fuck is going on in a hockey game.
Demographic there is pretty.
It's different, but it could work. But I think the Quebec City, I would absolutely love to see it. And honestly, all the talk about Ottawa being uprooted and shit like that, if it was to happen anywhere, I would like to see Quebec City, quite frankly.
Great comment. And we all know my thoughts about the Quebec people, but I do think that they love their hockey, and I think that they could support a second hockey team. So I do agree with that one.
We
as well.
we wouldn't be in contention for gold medals if it weren't for the province of Quebec and their goaltending. Quite frankly,
boy, isn't that a true statement? Let's run it over to J Dog this time. We'll have Dylan close it out, but J Dog, who do you think would be a good city?
I love the idea of Quebec City too. However, demographics, maybe that's not the right word. I would say my thoughts with the expansion, Newfoundland, somewhere in Newfoundland would be a good idea. And the reason being, with the expansion, it would be great for flights. It'd be like as far as having you could probably have I would say Halifax would be best, but as far as the position wise, I just think if you're gonna go east, as far as the league is concerned, because you're not gonna go west, it's way too far, and there's it's not really that direction.
It's already crowded.
Yeah, so I think you're probably better off going that route. I'd love to see Halifax. I've been to a fair amount of games in the center there, and the fans love the sport. Obviously, they've got and you think about it, 5 of the top 20 players are from the Halifax area in the NHL. You know what I mean? And if you think about that, I'd say that more than a couple of those dudes would love to go back home. I guarantee you, they would have a draw instantly. So, and the city itself, the only thing is the rink that's there would have to be a different rink. There's no parking. Yeah. Mind you, venues around the facility is fantastic. I mean, the Citadel Hill's right there. They've got some of the best bars in the area. The draw itself is just I find Montreal and as far as the downtown area, like Saint Laurent, that area and Halifax are very similar. You've got tons of restaurants, tons of good places to eat, tons of different types of food to eat, and you got beer everywhere. What do they got? 9 breweries in Halifax? You can't go wrong with that.
The Halifax Mooseheads, what a great hockey team. And yeah, they just love their hockey in Halifax. So Halifax and Newfoundland, I support them both. Dylan, what's your thought? Where would the NHL make the best expansion next time?
Yeah, no, and now I totally understand why the 3 single guys or married guys on the panel, the hopeless romantics of the group, would love to have a team in Quebec City or the East Coast. It's just not going to happen. It's never going to happen. You guys are dreaming, and we'll be real old and real gray, and hopefully still doing this show. And maybe one day I'll eat my words, but this time my words are not very tasty, I tell you, because there's not going to be a team in Quebec City for a long time. The population alone is only 500,000. That's just not sustainable. Winnipeg's population is 750. They're barely hanging on to a team. The East Coast is Fredericton's under 100,000. So you just don't have the infrastructure. You just don't have the transportation. It's just not going to happen. So you guys are going to love this one, but I think the GTA is the only place that should and can handle another team. And I would love to see another team in the GTA. That would be amazing. A rival team in the same city. Why not? The New York Rangers and the New York Islanders have it. They have New Jersey. They have all these teams clustered together.
A little difference. That's a little
there we go.
different
The panel's
scale.
blowing up. Let's hear it, boys. What do you think?
I agree. That's been thrown around for years.
Yeah.
And Hamilton could do with a team too. I mean, it's not far. I mean, there's that. Look, I thought those were too obvious, but if I was thinking more on the expansion thing going east, and you know what though? Halifax has 350 or 380,000 people, and within a short area of that, there's probably another 200,000 people. It only takes 45 minutes to get into town. So
that's
anyway.
too
But as
small.
far as, well, the thing is,
I've been to
there's
football
nothing else to
games
do
with
there.
120,000 people in the
But you got
stadium.
the
There's not
GTA
enough-
though.
And
You got the
the
GTA to
amount
drive
of people
in.
doesn't
Yeah,
matter. It's
GTA is
corporate.
big.
Jay, you
Yeah,
know
I agree.
more than
I
anybody.
agree.
It's corporate sponsorship. It's big business. They don't
there's
have
tons of that in Halifax, dude.
Unfortunately.
It's the biggest shipping port in Canada.
Ah,
There's
come
money.
on.
There is
It's-
tons of
it's
money.
Enough money out there.
I think it's a really good
there's
AHL
probably more
market.
money there than you think. I guarantee you. There's more money there than Montreal.
Maybe
I
drug
guarantee
money
you.
from them maybe pulling shipments in through the border.
Dude, you have no idea, obviously, how many ships are coming in.
There's
and out
more
of there.
more money there than in Montreal. Have you been
Dude,
drinking
there's
your
more-
fucking bathwater, man?
I love the thought though.
Where do you think
I'll-
things are
we'll
coming
wrap
in
this
from?
one up.
Yeah,
Come in from,
yeah.
come in from
I love the
Halifax
thought.
to Montreal.
I love the
Anyway,
thought where all
I
of you
agree.
thought of a Canadian team, because that shows the real heart of this group, that we want more hockey in Canada. Now, I was the realist and I said Houston because they've got tons
And
of
nobody
money.
likes them.
You all three of you just said,
I did.
let's bring it back to Canada. You know what? I
No,
love it.
realists.
I really do. I think it's fantastic. But will it happen? Time will tell. We'll see what happens in a few years. But I really think it's going to be a South team again, you know, with Bettman running this league and it all about money. It's probably going to go to our counterparts in the USA. Well, we'll keep it going. We are a quarter way through the season. And can we believe it? We're almost a quarter way through the season. And it's been an exciting one. It really has been great. I really liked, the tons of teams that are just ripping it up this year. It's been a lot of fun to watch. And you know what? Like, I think the Leafs have got a shot if they can just keep getting tougher and maybe add a couple more pieces to make that run. But again, we're just getting started. There's lots of hockey left to play, 75% more of the games to play. What are your thoughts, guys? Like, what do you think has been, I guess, the best part of hockey so far this year? We'll throw that question out. I'm going to throw it out to two guys. I'm going to have Brendan answer, and then Dylan, and then me and Jay are going to talk about something different. But go ahead, guys.
I'll start by saying the best part of the season to this point for me, we're 1-0. I mean, if we're not going to make the playoffs as a fucking Senator fan, we're 1-0, man. I mean, if we're not going to make the playoffs, I don't give a shit about anything else but beating the Leafs. And you know what? Woo!
That's all that matters.
Love
That's
it
your
up, man,
Stanley
'cause
Cup.
In all reality, I've got hope for the season still. Like I said, the Senators, like we played 15 games. Like we've got what? So what? We're 6 points back of Tampa Bay in fourth place right now. 6 points back of the Leafs. We're 2 games in hand on you and 4 in hand on Tampa Bay. Our plus minus is better than yours and Tampa Bay's. I've got hope, man. I'm just saying, I really do feel like our goal differential is better, and like even with the shitty goaltending, we're 1-0 against the Leafs. If we miss the playoffs and shit the bed again this year and overreach on Tarasenko and Korpisalo and all those guys, you know what? So what? If we go however many 0 against the Leafs, I'll consider it not a good season, but not a total waste.
One quick question:
There you go.
do you take care of people's financials? I'm just wondering.
Oh yeah, that's the unfortunate part, eh?
Nothing but hope, eh?
Well, no, I mean, I'm not optimistic about interest rates. Don't worry about that. I mean, I like to think with the glass half full, but yeah, that's besides the point.
Yeah.
But I got
Well,
hope. I mean, if you don't have hope in the Senators, they're underachieving and they're still within reach of every team in the division. I would say that still gives me hope a quarter of the way through the season, statistically speaking.
You still got a shot, 75% to go, man. Lots of hockey left to play.
I wouldn't say
every
a shot.
team
I'd
can-
call it a pretty fucking good shot still.
I really think you do. I'm not holding Ottawa,
They're a good team.
out of the
Yeah.
playoff spot. Absolutely not.
At a shitty
Absolutely
stretch.
not.
Like when
Yeah,
we
you
played
know-
each other, when the Leafs and Senators played each other in the Battle of Ontario, our combined 11 games leading up to that, we had one fucking win
Yeah.
between the two teams. 11 games between the two teams. One was riding a 6. Well, we were riding a 6. or 5, and you guys have won 1 and 6. So
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, yeah, there's still a lot of hope. It's still so early. Who knows?
I do believe it's December 12th that we play again. So wait for that one. Ding, ding,
December
round
7th.
2. Bring it on.
December
7th. You're
7th.
going to
I'll
the game.
see you there, baby.
Yeah.
I'm bringing my boys. Totally just had a few beers at the one game and just.
Hey, that's definitely going to be a 3-0 game, right, Jamie?
We'll see. We'll see what happens there.
Elander's going to get 3.
Yeah, you're too
himself,
funny.
So.
I'm just joking around with you boys.
Yeah, too funny.
Just pulling
too
your
funny.
goalie.
Just pull him a goalie.
But yeah, Dylan, what's your favorite part of the season so far? What have you loved? What have you hated?
Well, I was gonna say, isn't the benchmark or the point in the season here is coming up, which is the American Thanksgiving, which is where the standings lie, is where which teams are fitted to where they're going to be, and save for a few surprises. I think we had, was it Philadelphia? No, who was it a few years ago that went on that massive run and came in, made it to the playoffs and had a huge run. It's drawn a blank. But anyways, I think my point is here, quarter way through the season, and I'm really surprised by Vancouver. Obviously, I'm even surprised by Winnipeg. I'm surprised by Boston. So goes to show you that even a guy who loves hockey, watches hockey, follows the players, follows the stats as much as I do, it's hard to predict what's going to happen. I think you're going to know that there are certain teams that will do well, but for those 3 teams in particular to come out of nowhere and basically do what they've done, super impressed. Obviously, super impressed with the Leafs. And super disappointed with the Senators, man. I don't know. I would really love to see the Senators doing just a little bit better than they are right now. So,
wouldn't we all?
Maybe we'll do you another favor on December 7th. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait to do the show. That's a Thursday night. So the show on Tuesday. So I'll be there to talk about that. And we're going to get there early and add to our warm-up pucks collection, hopefully. So
nice.
It's been a great year.
Nice.
We got glad to go to the live games.
Yeah, we got enough time for it. So I'm gonna have Jay comment on his favorite part of the season so far, and maybe worst part. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, watching hockey from having a couple of these in palm trees, it's kind of nice. But I'd have to say, well, as far as I actually like the fact that they went to Sweden. I think that's awesome. The expansion's coming, like you said earlier, and I kind of like the idea of hometown guys from other countries being able to get a chance to see their hometown guys playing. It's not, or home country guys, whatever. I think it's important that those guys get a chance to show their talents, because it's about growing the game. And the biggest problem right now is that most of the sports that are out there are individual. And since the X Games came out, people started realizing how much individualism and how much individual accolades that you can get in the individual sports. And let's face it, our society has changed so much to individualism. It's really changed the way people talk to people, to each other, the way that people interact with each other. And the more we're on our phones, the more we're separated from everybody else. So I think being able to grow the game, get kids out of the house, that wouldn't normally be, at a regular hockey game, because some of the leagues over there are not exactly, exciting. I can't say that they're horrible. A lot of them are very good. Don't get me wrong. It's not the NHL. And like a lot of these guys, there's tons of fans from other countries that watch the NHL religiously. And I think it's important that they get to see their hometown guys. To me, that was a good one. I like it.
Yeah.
And Jamie, we talked a bit earlier off air about the scheduling. I must say that the league has done a better job scheduling. Remember the what was it? The offset games, the different timing games. They had all 31 teams playing in one day. Things like that. Cool. I think they need to improve on the outdoor games. They've done a fantastic job with year over year. And although I'm a little bit disappointed there's no hockey tonight out of all nights, but I guess you
Me
can
too.
comment
You
on
gotta
that.
say, like you gotta imagine the jobs that the people that really schedule all of these sports to go on at the same time and using the same arenas, basketball, hockey, it's hard to juggle. And I can just imagine being that person with that job, probably making some pretty good dough, but it's not going to be easy to schedule that and then to schedule
we
the
lose
flights
you?
and just make sure that everything, is all perfect and everybody's okay. Well, these two are playing here and these two are playing here, and then throw in the NBA, and it can't be easy. So props to those people that do that for both leagues. Just fantastic job doing that. My favorite part of the year has got to be the teams that have surprised us. Vancouver, even the Red Wings with the hot start that they had, never thought that they were going to do well. I really got to say, I love that the Canadians are in dead last in the Atlantic. Just loving that. Also, a big shout out to the Rangers, the New York Rangers, and Panarin having a huge start this year. We've got some different teams coming up in the Eastern, and then in the Western, we've got the Knights red hot again. I kind of predicted that a little bit. They have another good year. But even teams like the Stars coming up and the Jets having a good year. And I really thought they're going to have one of their like the worst years in franchise history. And they're getting it done so far. But then again, we're only 25% in. Lots of hockey left to play. With that being said, we're going to ask the question because we asked it during our second show that we actually shot and we had problems with it. We couldn't release it. So let's bring it back up again. Who do you guys think right now, if you're going to pick one team and one team only, either from, the West or the East, who's winning the cup and why? And we're going to throw it over to Jay to start this comment. Jay, who do you think is going to win the cup?
I'm split. I have to say, I think it's between Vegas and the Leafs because as far as Vegas is concerned, they're proven. There's not much else to say. As far as the Leafs are concerned, if they don't win this year, I think they're getting dismantled and they know it. And even though they've got all these trade clauses, like no trade clauses, they're going to ask guys to move. And guys will want to move because if Willie ends up going for free, because they're in this predicament right now where if they can't afford to sign him right now, to give him a new contract this minute, which they could, like they've done for everybody else, but they can't. He's going to end up walking at the end of the year. So they're all or nothing with him right now. They're stuck with that. So either they win this year or they're fucked. And Willie's not going to be the only one that goes because I guarantee you Matthews is getting the call to go back to Phoenix. Guaranteed. He's being asked that on a regular basis. And you know what? I don't blame him. I'd go back to be a superstar and maybe start drawing some people to a team that's, obviously hasn't been good since Chucky was there.
Probably about to fold.
What's that?
Maybe about to fold.
Yeah. Well, that's possible too. Right. And it might prevent that. The other thing is too, Marner's just he's not a playoff dude. They're never going to win in the playoffs, expecting him to be one of their top leaders. Yeah, he's going to get lots of points as far as his scoring is concerned, but he gives up the puck. He's scared to get hit. He makes these stupid passes that no look bullshit when it comes to the playoffs. You want to do that during the regular season? Fucking right. Go ahead, especially when you're going to score 100 points. I don't have a problem with that. But when it comes down, he doesn't play reliable hockey when it comes down to the playoffs. And it's not just him. Matthews last year, kind of the same thing. And except at least Matthews played both ends of the ice really well. I'll give him that. He just wasn't putting the puck in the net. So you got the other guys that are making $5 and $6 million. You think Riley's going to be sticking around? I don't. I think they're going to look at trade him. He's getting on the back end of his age. As far as getting up there, they can still get money for him. I know he's got the no trade, but they're going to ask guys like him because they can bring in two young studs that can hit, that can play physical, because that's biggest problem with Toronto is they never have big defense. They have mobile guys, but they never have big defense that anybody's scared of. And you look at Boston over the years, they've been 2 lines deep and they've had fucking 6 defense that were nasty as fuck. And people were scared to go in the dirty spots, and that's what's made them the team that they are. They got scoring obviously, and they play great 2-way hockey. But anyway, those are the 2 teams for me.
Thanks, Jay, for the comment. We'll move it over to Brendan. We'll have Dylan and I close this one out. But Brendan, go ahead. Who do you think's going to win the cup and why?
Sadly, it's not the Leafs, boys. It's just not
the
the year.
Sens?
No.
Is it the Sens?
No, I'm a realist. I'm not a Leafs fan. But no, I just the Leafs. I just don't see it just because of internal turmoil and conflict. Man, there's just too much going on there, and they don't have a coach for it. It's unfortunate because all the money and time invested. But it's unfortunate that I don't think that it's their year. I don't think that they'll have to build from the bottom up because they never do. They always spend enough money to have a good team the next year and then shit in the playoffs. But anyways, besides that, who I think is going to win, and no one's going to pick them, but they should. Very, very strong chance that LA makes a deep fucking run. That's a talented team, but Colorado. Colorado.
Yeah,
well, why not? I mean, they've been there. They're proven. They've got two. I would say two of the top 5 talented players in the NHL, in Makar and McKinnon. And then you top it off with Rantanen, and then you got Nikushkin in there too. Like it's like you talk top level talent.
they're so
I
fast.
think
Are they going to get their captain back though?
I think that
Is
it's
Landeskog going to come back for the playoffs? Because if Landeskog comes back, I gotta agree with you.
And here's the other side of it. You know, you got vets that are contributing too. You got guys like Cogliano, who's just crushing plus minus. Like he's on the ice for all sorts of good
still
shit.
fly, eh?
Oh, dude, I'm telling you,
so
they're
fast.
quick, they're talented. In their power play, they control the puck so fucking smoothly, man. They're going to be a tough team to beat, and they always are, right? But no one ever picks them because no one ever thinks like, oh, that's a market. Yeah, I'm sounding like a Quebec City homer right now. I know, but
I think
whatever.
I agree with you. They're definitely up
They
there.
won a
for
couple
sure.
years ago. So
I mean,
I
they're
got to
fucking
support
good,
that
too.
pick as well. Dylan, who do you think's going to win the cup? Are you still on board with the Leafs, or have you kind of flopped ship a little bit? Are you still really going and saying this is the year, bud?
Unfortunately, no, I can't. I just can't. You know, the additions haven't been what they're supposed to be yet. They still have question marks on the defensive side of things. They still have. So I honestly do believe you mentioned Sheldon Keefe. Like I've heard his post game speeches, his pre-game speeches. I don't think he fucking knows what he's talking about when he's in the dressing room, man. I don't think he knows how to motivate men to do.
He's a good coach.
He's a good coach. He's a smart coach. He's a systems coach. He works with
He's an AHL coach.
But is he a
He's
Stanley
not-
Cup coach, though?
Listen, at this point, these are NHL caliber Stanley Cup potential winning players. They don't need to be told what to do. They need to be told what to motivate. They need to be motivated. They need to be inspired. It's the
Obviously,
mental,
money ain't doing it.
No, exactly. It's the mental aspect. And Sheldon Keefe he doesn't have that X factor in my
There's
opinion.
no energy
to motivate them. There's no
He doesn't have the
energy.
energy.
There's no rah speech like you're watching some fucking, I don't even know, Remember the Titans movie at the end, or something like that. Like some crazy ass motivational speech. The Leafs don't have it. So
And
you're gonna make me
funny?
pick just for the sake of. Go ahead, no, Brendan. What?
Sorry, no, I was just gonna say, just on Keefe. Did you watch the Battle of Ontario? The split screen between him and DJ Smith, so accurate, man. Like I was like, whoa, were they like, split at birth or something like that? These two guys, holy jumping,
But
man.
Smith was in Toronto for a bit too, right?
And they're
DJ
both on
Smith
that,
has the room,
and they're both out too. I think.
They're gonna be
Yeah, they're
Sorry,
both-
Dylan, my bad, man.
And I'll say my 2 cents on Toronto here. Don't keep going, and I'll jump in after.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would love to say that the Leafs are going to win the cup this year, and I'd actually feel like I'm doing myself a bigger service by saying they're not and be proven wrong. I've eaten my words on this show a few times early, and it's only been the first few shows.
Trying something new.
I'm trying something new, so maybe I can have a little fucking word soup later, and if the Leafs pull it off, and who knows? I can't even imagine what that's going to be like. How much Vaseline they'll have to bring in to Toronto to grease up the CN Tower. I'm not even sure, but I'll be trying to climb that thing. I'll tell you that much.
Who are you picking?
Well, I'm
put
I'm
on
on the same page as that man.
My little Borat bikini and climb the CN Tower. So grease it up, boys. But honestly, who am I picking? I'm gonna say what wins you the Stanley Cup is not what the Leafs have, which is an offensive powerhouse. What wins you the Stanley Cup is goaltending and defense. And I think the New York Rangers have the goaltending and the defense. And we haven't seen the best of Shesterkin yet.
You know,
seen the best of Shesterkin in the past.
Nobody's talked about Boston either. That's crazy.
Boston.
No.
Yeah. But
but there's so many good top level teams.
There's 8 top teams right now. There's 8 teams that could win the cup.
And you know what? Like
you got Ottawa in there.
I got to throw it out here because as a Leaf fan, you know, I want them to win the cup. I truthfully would love them to win the cup. You know, I've been waiting my whole life to see them go on a deep run since 1993 when they lost to the Los Angeles Kings. I was there at that series to watch it live. And it's been a rough go. It has been a rough go to watch. It's hard to watch too. And I just don't think they've got that killer instinct that they need to have in the playoffs to really have that deep run. I think that they do need a fresh approach as a coach. But 75% of the season left. I'm going as a fan, I'm going to cheer them on the whole way. Absolutely. Who do I truthfully think is going to win the Stanley Cup at this point right now? Is the Dallas Stars. I really do. I think they've got a fantastic team, you know, with Pavelski, Duchesne, Robertson. This Johnson
unreal.
Kid just having a fantastic year. And Jamie Benn for some maturity, right? And then Oettinger and Wedgwood, they're a pretty good goalie tandem. So I think that they might really give a solid push. And as a Leaf fan, I just can't say that Boston Bruins are going to win the Stanley Cup. They couldn't get it done in the playoffs last year. I think that's going to be the exact same story. They're going to kill it. They're going to win the President's Cup, and then they're going to lose in the first round. That's my prediction for the Boston Bruins.
I'm just going to say,
my guess is the Dallas Stars.
That's a good call.
I will say one other thing about the Leafs. The guys that they brought in are definitely not regular season dudes. I don't think. I think that you're like everybody's giving a hard time with Reeves. He wasn't brought in for the regular season. He's going to get 3 minutes a game if he's lucky when he's playing a regular shift. That's a regular shift for him. I think Domi's going to be a bit of more of an impact in the playoffs, and I definitely think Bertuzzi's going to be more of an impact in the playoffs than any. I think he's got room to play better, but I just think that the guys that they brought in are for the playoffs, and you'll see. I think you'll see different intensity than you will in the playoffs. And that's what they didn't have.
Reeves can get it as intense as he wants, but he's fucking brutal at hockey, man.
Yeah.
That's the problem,
agree.
right? Like he's minus 11, and that's 4 better than he was. Is he minus 20 now? Yeah, I saw minus 11.
He was minus 16 there.
He's got zero fucking points. And if he suits up for a playoff game, they're making a fucking mistake because he's not fighting anybody either right now. So it's like, what the fuck is he doing there, right?
Well,
like he's gonna be played less than Chris Neil was, for fuck's sakes, for Ottawa in the playoffs, man. At the end of his career, like I think Chris Neil at least had an assist every now and then.
It's rough to be a Leafs fan sometimes, but
I love Chris.
They've got some momentum.
He's hometown boy. Played his junior in North Bay. I used to go see him all the time. He's a good player.
But they've got some momentum. Leafs got some momentum coming out of the Sweden, tournament, little tournament there. Also, the Sens have some momentum too, to really turn this year around. And boy, oh boy, what a great year it's been so far. Right around an hour, and that's kind of what we're going to be shooting for moving forward, is around an hour show, an hour and 15 minutes. Wanted to comment on probably one of the best goaltenders that this league has seen. He's had some great seasons. He's won the cup a couple times. He's been just a leader. And you know what? Brennan said it. We wouldn't be anything in this country without our Quebec goaltenders. Mr. Fleury, Mr. Marc-Andre Fleury is only a few wins away from surpassing probably his idol, the Patrick Waugh, right? Growing up in Quebec, I can just imagine that's probably who he watched when he was a kid. And boy, oh boy, he's got 547 wins. He's played 994 games, and Roy's got 551. He's not going to be able to catch Brodeur, 691 wins. Like, just not going to happen. But I was crazy. I couldn't believe it. The stat that I pulled up on him. So he's got for life in the NHL, a goal against average 2.59. But this is the stat that really stuck with me in all of his games that he's played. 994 games. He's got a 912 save percentage, and that's amazing to have. As a goaltender that's played that many games, to be in the nines, you're a great goaltender. And well, I've got some memories of watching him, hoist the cup with the Pittsburgh Penguins and helping Crosby, win the cup for the first time. That was really exciting, and I will cheer him along the way. And he's playing for Minnesota now and making an impact with the Wild, and it's really exciting to see. So I can't wait for him to surpass Patrick Waugh and get that second spot. I think it's pretty awesome. But also wanted to kind of end the show, boys, unless anybody's got anything that they really wanted to jump in and say about Fleury or anything else before we end the show.
Fleury has been, I think, probably the most lovable, charismatic guy in the NHL for what, 18 years, 20 years? What's he been in it? 18 or 19 years now? And
he's 18 seasons, yeah.
You've seen him mad a couple times. You've seen him fight, and he's still smiling. He's smiling when he's fighting. Like, he just doesn't have a mean bone in his body. What he does for the city, people still talk about him in Pittsburgh and what he was doing for the city, going out, signing stuff, going to the hospitals, talking, and bringing in shitloads of toys for the kids. He's just, again, you hate this. I hate this. But all the Quebec goalies that have been fantastic in the past, with the exception of Patrick Waugh, have all been stellar personalities. Felix Potvin was hilarious. He was funny. He didn't say too much. He was fun to watch. Brodeur is hilarious. Some of these the commercials he's been doing over the last, 10 years with Hertz Rent-A-Car or whatever the heck it was, or whatever the other one was. I can't remember. But, just doing funny shit, and they're charismatic dudes, and I have to say that it's been a blessing for us to have these guys play in the NHL, and obviously like Brennan said, we wouldn't have won any world. Well, I won't say that we wouldn't have won, but it would have been a hell of a lot harder to win World Cups and Olympics without the goalies that we've had from Quebec.
Yeah, I second that, man. That Marc-Andre Fleury is an ambassador to the sport, true character, a guy that we wish we had more personalities like him. I gotta say, Brodeur, sometimes I find in this sport, when you're a superstar or even just, making the NHL is pretty unbelievable in itself. But sometimes your personal life can interfere and shit happens and gets involved. And I think that happened with Brodeur, and it happens with other guys, but you never hear that about Marc-Andre Fleury. He's like the Tom Hanks of hockey, right? You just never hear a bad thing about him, and he just flies, not under the radar, but certainly above the radar with his statistical prowess and his energy and his love for the game. And I really admire that guy a lot, and he's been a great ambassador to the sport.
Yeah, class act, and quite frankly, when you think about consistency and what you want out of a goaltender, a flash in the pan isn't it? And he's been anything but that. A guy just a class act throughout, and to top it off, he's been spectacular statistically speaking for his entire career. I mean, you can't argue with that, and success to go along with it too.
Well, look what happened
all the best, right?
When the Cups, when Pittsburgh won the Cup, he wasn't necessarily on the ice every game, he wasn't the guy necessarily, but he was a supportive guy. He had just as much to do with those Cup wins by supporting his backup goaltender, humbling himself, being happy and being just feeling grateful for being an NHL hockey player and making millions of dollars playing the sport you love, and that's what I truly love about
And being a
Vancouver.
team
What's all
player
about.
too.
Exactly.
I have to say one thing though, about a quick little story, because you kind of said something about Brodeur there. So I used to play hockey with Nick Lemaire, Jacques Lemaire's son, in Temiskaming, Quebec. He was a QPP officer up there, and his dad donated some stuff to our beer league. Well, actually, I wasn't even in the league. It was the tournament that we do every year in Temiskaming. Anyway, I asked him. I said, "Hey, man, I'm going to go see I'm going to."
I think we might have lost J Dog there a little bit. He's
Fuck.
he is streaming from
Marty Brodeur's
from
story
the
would have been
public.
hilarious, but I guess we
Yeah, I was waiting to hear that one. I hope he comes back.
Well, he had
but,
a couple of things going on with his wives or his girlfriend. He was just wheeling and dealing for a while.
And his wife's girlfriend.
we will we'll end the show without J Dog. Sorry, Jay, but we'll kind of keep the show going. We're a live stream tonight, so got to make sure that we keep going. We have to end the show with GG Poker and Twitch .tv/ keep your head up poker. And I streamed last Friday. Had a blast. Didn't do very well. Had a couple people join the stream and we're commenting, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it on Saturday. And remember that you want to join. If you want to join and you're not Ontario, anywhere else, you can join GG Poker. And when you're joining, make sure to add our a code KYHUH. Keep your head up hockey. KYHUH to support their stream and join us on GG Poker. But yeah, an absolute pleasure to have you guys with us tonight. Our first live show. We'll go live on YouTube next week. We went live on Twitch now, so we'll try to go live on YouTube next week. But it's been an absolute blast. Thanks for being with us on our fourth show. Always a pleasure, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of the journey, and keep your head up. Take care.
Been a slice.
Peace.
All right. See ya later. If I can get my mouse to work to get up to the live feed. See you guys. Bye.